Hello, everyone. You're listening to Game Rivals, a podcast where a Nintendo fan and a PlayStation fan talk about the latest games and happenings in the gaming community and industry. I'm one of your hosts, Maximilian X, and together with Sean Templar, we bring you this bi weekly podcast about video games.
Alrighty, welcome back everybody to a new E3 extravaganza super episode of the Game Rivals. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Templar, and I'm here with my other amazing co-host, Maximilian. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Sean Templar. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. Yeah.
Excellent. I was actually kind of worried that we wouldn't be able to do this, but lo and behold, here we are.
Well, let's just say that the internet in some parts of the world aren't as amazing as our home country, and now I understand all the Stadia stuff you're talking about, like internet in other countries. It's so different. I get the skeptical part now.
Yeah, you get it now, don't you?
Yeah, I've had to experience it myself, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, at least you're here and you've been able to catch up on some of the pre-E3 stuff.
Yep.
Which I've also been able to watch. Some of them live, some of them kind of in the recap. So I guess let's just jump into our first segment. We're gonna dive into EA first. Our second segment will be about the Microsoft press event, which I can't wait to talk about, and I can't believe I'm even saying that. And then the third segment will be about Bethesda and a little bit about Devolver Digital. So let's kick it off with, well, EA. And the first thing they kicked it off was with Star Wars.
Yes, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Woo!
Yeah, it looked awesome. However,
Uh-oh.
so I'm gonna jump the gun a little bit
No, can we just say
because
that it looked awesome before
because
we just do this?
no. I'm not disagreeing with the awesomeness. I just want to jump the gun a little bit and explain why I'm saying this.
Okay.
Because to me, the presentation at Microsoft for this game was better paced because it was like a proper trailer
Hmm.
than the gameplay deep dive that they had at the EA event. I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to have the deep dive. It's just that it wasn't paced that well.
To be honest, I just watched the 15-minute video of the gameplay trailer. And for me, that was okay.
Really?
Yeah, I just look.
Because if I compared that to that, I would have rather had they started off with the trailer and then do a deep dive.
That's how it generally goes, but yeah. I just want to say that I'm actually, besides the pacing stuff you're having, I'm really excited. I got a strong Uncharted meets Star Wars feeling out of it, which I really liked.
Really?
Yeah, the traversal, and climbing and stuff like that, and the environmental puzzles about the part where and that's something I really like, the super cute drone you have with you.
Yeah.
That drone's really cool.
What was it called again? BB1?
I honestly don't know. I was constantly laughing because it's like, oh, it's so cute, the sounds it makes. But there's this part that the character's climbing up, and then he says that he can overcharge something, and then he overcharges something, and it opens up a completely different way for him to get through the level. I was like, okay, I get this. This is, at least for me, it felt a lot like Uncharted, which is, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. So the droid's called BD1.
Mm,
Capital B, capital D1. It's adorable.
that's a good
It's
acronym.
like a cute little backpack. I want one.
Yeah, it's really nice. What I also thought was really cool is that the combat system doesn't look like you're overpowered. It looks like you have a stamina meter or a force meter, so you can't pull the same trick in infinite times. You have to kind of like plan out your moves before you do something, instead of just force choke everybody. I don't know if it's in there, but for example, you can't just force choke everybody constantly, or I think you can't deflect all laser beams constantly. So there is some planning and thinking around instead of just walking around and like, oh, I'm a Jedi, I'm gonna kill you all. It's you're actually pretty fragile for a Jedi, and that's something I like.
Yeah, I mean, the as you were talking about the combat. So for me, it reminded me more of the last Star Wars single player game, Star Wars and The Force Unleashed.
The Force Awakens.
No, no, not The Force Awakens. That's the movie.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Lol. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Force Unleashed, yeah, the one in when you get to
yeah,
choose what you want to do, and you're the apprentice of Darth Vader and stuff like that.
yeah. Exactly. It kind of felt more like that in terms of the combat, but way more free flowing.
Okay.
So you could definitely see that you have the options to do whatever, and they confirmed it. So during the interview after the gameplay event, where they were talking to Greg Miller from Kind of Funny Games, and they were saying that yes, it looks like all those moves are canned, but they're not. It's free flowing. You can combo whichever way you want. You can combo in whichever order you want, and it looks awesome because you have new force powers that didn't exist before the Disney acquisition. You know, the like for example, they were showing off that he could slow down enemies, kind of like how Kylo Ren does it in the
Yeah, that
movies,
was cool.
including freezing a bolt of laser in place and grabbing a stormtrooper, bringing it to him, and then force pushing it into the beam. Oh, that was so
That
awesome!
was cool. Yeah, yeah, that was awesome.
Oh man, that was so cool.
Yeah,
Oh, the
I'll
game. I will say that the gameplay, yes, I am looking forward to it personally because it has been a while since we've actually had a good Star Wars game, a good single player one at that. So I'm looking forward to what this game is going to entail, how it's going to unfold. Um, it looks good. It looks really nice. There's a lot of foliage in this game.
definitely. Yeah.
At least in the part that they showed, there was a lot of foliage.
Yep. Yeah, it really look. Besides that, it looks good. I think it'll play nice. But with these games, it's always the question like, okay, I'm gonna sink $60 into it, and is it gonna be one of those 6 hour single player games, or am I gonna get more money for my? Or am I gonna get more value for my hard earned money? If they
Mm-mm.
make it worth it, if it's like a roller coaster ride of 6 hours, I'll probably be fine with it. But the tricky part with these kind of games is you play it once and then you kind of never play it again. So I think that replay value is something important to look at with these kind of games.
Which is going to be interesting because they said that in this game there's no choosing light or dark side. You are a Jedi. Period.
But that's nice.
So there's no more. There's no, as far as I can tell, there's no morality system. But they did say there were story, the branching story paths depending on what you choose in dialogues. That carries over. So I'm curious to see how that actually plays out. I think for Respawn, this might be the first time they're doing something like this story wise. So I'm kind of curious if they'll be able to pull it off.
Yeah, they do have some experience with single player because, of course, they have people from Infinity Ward that came over when they first started, and the
Mm.
second Titanfall had a really good single player, one of the most underappreciated single players that are out there right now. So I think they did get some practice out with that. Um, I just don't know like how much freedom they have to go with the Star Wars game and the way that the game is being pitched. It's Star Wars Jedi, and then it's called Fallen Order. So it looks like they're setting up a franchise. So I think then there will be, if the game sells well, I think there will be a lot of opportunities to branch out and do other stuff.
Will they though? Because their license is about to expire.
Yeah, I think that this is one of those hit or miss moments for EA when if they can show Disney that they can pull it off, because Disney has stated in the past, I believe even this year, last month or the month before that, Bob Iger, the CEO, said that they're comfortable and they like doing licensing deals. They don't want to develop in-house Star Wars games. They want to give the license to someone and have them do it. And yeah, if you look at it, if they take the license back from EA, there are only a handful of publishers that might go for it, and that's either I think a Ubisoft, an Activision, maybe a Microsoft or a Sony. But I don't think that's like maybe Microsoft will pull it off. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We do know that at least when it comes to the Marvel licenses,
Mm-hmm.
at the very least, those they're more willing to spread the love around, as it were, because Nintendo is publishing a Marvel game that's being made by Team Ninja. Square Enix is making a Marvel game. Um, we have Camouflage making the Iron Man game. So in terms of Marvel, Marvel seems to be spreading the love around. We don't know about LucasArts yet, so I guess only time will tell.
Yeah.
I mean, if this ends up being a good game and it ends up doing well and it ends up making Disney a lot of money, I can see indeed them being like, okay, um, do like respawn do more of this for us while we shop around other stuff, because the only other thing that I guess we'll get into later with the Microsoft one, I don't want to spoil it here right now, there was another, as Lord Emperor Palpatine would say.
Yeah, I remember when EA got the license, it was a licensing deal for 10 years. So I think they got the
The
license.
10 years is almost up, man.
Yeah, they got it in 20, what, 2012, 2013, something like that. So
Yeah,
if they,
no, earlier than that,
I- are we sure? Let me just double check that. EA.
because I think they got the license soon after the Disney acquisition.
I'm just double checking that.
I think about a year after that, and the Disney acquisition was uh the top of my head. I think it was 2012, maybe.
Okay, this is funny. I see two different articles. One is saying Disney is reviving Lucasfilm games and may take back the Star Wars license from EA. That was posted in March of this year. And another,
Oh no, that was a yeah. That one is not accurate now.
oh yeah, it
It
says
was later
here. Oh
debunked.
yeah, yeah, it says that the update to the original article. Disney has reached out to outlets clarifying that Lucasfilm Games has existed to help manage licensing for games. They have no intention of developing games in house and still plan on working with EA. Yeah, because the
Yep.
other article says that um, Disney will continue to license Star Wars video games to EA, and that was a month before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, if there is still time left, like let's say there are 2 or 3 years left on the deal for EA, if EA really wants to
Hmm.
be a shitty publisher, they can have Respawn churn out another one after this. Because like generally what we see this gen is that if they come up with a new IP, it takes them like 4 or 5 years to develop the IP, and then when they want to do a sequel, they generally pull it off in 2 or maybe 3 years. So if EA really wants to be a cash cow guy, then they can say, you know what, after this one, we want you to move into production or pre-production for the second part, and we want that to be released within 2 or 3 years. They could play that card if they want.
Yeah, they could,
I don't hope so,
but
but
only
yeah,
yeah, but only time will tell, man.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any more things to say about Fallen Order?
No, let's move on to the next game we saw where I got excited.
Yeah, Battlefield 5.
Oh my god! Oh, Battlefield 5! Oh, so what I
I think I messaged you while I was watching it and saying that I'm actually kind of impressed with the visuals,
yeah.
because honestly, the only time that I've seen the game was at its E3 reveal. Like that's all I've seen of the game until it came out. Until I saw this stuff.
Okay, because the
I'm gonna
game's
be
changed so
completely
much.
honest.
Yeah, the game's changed a
Yeah,
lot since then.
and they're adding a lot of stuff, which
Yeah,
I think is it part of the season pass or is it free? That's the part I didn't get.
it's all free because there is no season pass.
Wow. Okay, I'm impressed.
Yeah, last year
Hmm.
they when they
Golf clap for that one.
yeah, with Star Wars they said we're not doing a season pass, and with Battlefield
They did.
they said that we're not doing a season pass. So I mean, with Star Wars Battlefront 2, that was the first game without a season pass, and this one has it, and um, it's really cool because yes, Battlefield has had a rocky start, but now you can kind of see the vision Dice has for it, and they've announced like a steady stream of content coming out in the next few months. We recently got a new map, the Mercury map, which is set in Greece. We're gonna get a new map which is set in North Africa, which is this big open map which has different playstyles catered to it. So there's vehicle combat in there if you want. You can play as a sniper. They're in three sections there, and then they're gonna release
Mhm.
another map set in Greece after that, which is more focused on close quarter combat. They said that they've noticed that the community really wants these infantry styled maps, so they're gonna give an answer to that. And then in October, we're gonna get Operation Underground, which is basically, or at least it basically looks like Operation Metro from Battlefield 3. For the people that played Battlefield 3, that was an amazing map. Just don't play it with 64 people because then it's a grenade fest. But yeah, that would happen often. There was these the either spawn and either sides would spawn, and then they would go up an escalator, and then at the middle of the map that would be, if you would play it for 64 players and you didn't have grenades or explosive stuff turned off, it would be this huge grenade bazooka fest. You would just constantly hear explosions. Yeah, it was fun in the beginning, but eventually people would get tired of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna do a
Okay.
1940 style map of that.
That explains why. That explains why they were so adamant in saying, "Yes, we heard you. You want closer, tighter maps for like up in your face kind of combat." Um, but yeah, that level, that map also looked really nice and tight. It looks really good. All.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of
Yeah.
Frostbite. If Frostbite is handled properly, and in this case, Dice is the creator of Frostbite, they know how to use the engine. If Frostbite is
Well,
handled
yeah.
properly, the game really shines, and that's what I meant with in our last episode. That when I played Battlefield, when I switched up to 4K, the game really shined. Because to be honest, in full HD, I wasn't impressed with the graphics. I was thinking, okay, wow, this is not what I thought it would be, because it was on ultra settings at full HD, and it didn't have that impact that Battlefield 3 had on me when I first played that on max settings. And when I switched to 4K on high settings, I had that initial Battlefield 3 impact. Oh my god, this is so pretty.
Hmm.
So it's only going to get better. I saw it at a friend's place. He has an RTX graphics card, so he has ray tracing enabled, and it looks even better in ray tracing. So um,
Okay.
they've built the game for higher grades of hardware. So yeah, you can really shine, because it's also what you see with the Pacific maps. They have these. They have. They've announced that in the fall we're going to get a Pacific campaign finally, with the Americans in there and the Japanese in there, because now it's only the Brits versus the Germans, and then we're going to get the Japanese or the
You're
Pacific
about to say the
faction.
Brits versus the Dutch, weren't
I
you?
was about to say that, yeah.
Oh boy.
Because of the Rotterdam map. Anyways,
Yeah.
we're gonna get the Pacific Theater, and we've kind of seen like in engine renders, which looks really nice. And Dice is gonna definitely deliver on that. I firmly believe in that. They've also announced that they're gonna raise the level cap to level 500, because now it's at 50 and people reached it really quickly. So it's gonna be 500,
Okay.
and they'll be adding different features to the map. And the beauty of it is it's all free.
Yeah, I mean that's we're gonna see a lot more games that are doing that as we go on. But kudos to EA to owning up to this kind of stuff.
Definitely.
So
Yeah, I
yeah, I
think
mean, I actually might try this stuff when it comes out on my PC.
you should definitely try that out. It's so amazing. The sheer
I won't have the same level of fidelity that I saw, but
uh,
it's about the gameplay with
let me
me.
put it this way. Besides the last month that I've been able to run it at 4K, all the time before that, I still had amazing fun with it. Because where Battlefield really shines is when you play it together with somebody, which I generally do,
Hmm.
or if you play it with friends, then the game really shines because it's so much fun, and you have what Dice calls these battlefield moments in which incredible stuff happens, and it almost feels like you're in a movie, and it's just a game. In a way, you can impact that. You can cause these epic moments in which you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. The other day I was playing on the Mercury map, and I was hiding behind a barrack, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to create an entrance, and I threw dynamite at the barrack. I blew all the barrack away, which
Mm.
looked and felt amazing. And then I just jumped into the barrack. Somebody popped a smoke grenade in there, and then enemy players started running at me, and I just grabbed my MP40 and I started spraying, and I like seeing the kill counters, and like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm killing 5 6 people. Yeah, and it just feels so good. And then I died, and then I said medic, and then my buddy came and he revived me, and then we just continued on with that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's you have to be a fan of multiplayer games, and if you are, you will definitely love this.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, did you check out anything else from the EA Play thing? Because this wasn't a press event and this wasn't a digital thing. What they basically essentially did was they had a game, they gave it a half hour, they showed some gameplay, they talked to the devs, and then they had a 10-minute break and moved on to the next game, which I have to be honest was really draining.
Yeah, the funny thing is that they generally, what you're seeing is with a lot of these press conference thingies, they're using the same people for different publishers are using the same people for different events. For example, honestly, that Greg Miller guy is sometimes too much for me. And when he started to talk about Star Wars, I'm like, okay, I can't take this. I'm just gonna watch the Jedi Fallen Order gameplay trailer. And I understand he's really just trying to make a cool show of it, but just sometimes feels too forced. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it at it because I'm not in the moment. I'm not in the mood right now to be able to check this out. And he's a pretty cool guy. He's popular and stuff like that. He's hosted game award shows as well. So he really knows how to do his stuff. It's just that I wasn't really in the moment to tolerate him, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna skip this. And yeah, the tricky part is other people. There's a risk other people have this as well, and then people just drop out, and then yeah, you as a publisher you can't kind of get the message across.
Yeah, true. I mean, I didn't mind it. I don't mind Greg Miller. I get his energy. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Not everybody's gonna see that as a positive thing.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that,
yeah, like
I mean, they showed us like some FIFA stuff. Some
yeah, Apex Legends is getting a second season with a new legend.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about
Yeah,
that.
and FIFA Street is also coming back. Yay.
As a mode, right?
Yeah, for FIFA 20, at least that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been way more happier if it was its own separate game and be like, yes, I'll pick up FIFA Street as a separate game, not as a mode. No, thank you. Like the whole Street franchise should come back. FIFA Street, NBA Street, bring that stuff back because it was fun. I miss uh, arcade sports games.
That's why I like Forza Horizon, because it's arcadey. It's kind of like Need for Speed Underground.
Ooh, we gotta talk about that soon too. Oh my goodness.
Need for Speed, or
No, Forza.
ah, okay.
So yeah, let's wrap this segment up. Everybody, stick around, and we'll be back with Microsoft's E3 press event.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the second segment of this E3 special episode of the press conferences. Second segment, is of course about Microsoft's E3 press conference. Honestly, the only ones so far that have actually done a press conference that I personally think was worth a while, which is saying a lot considering that I'm not a Microsoft or Xbox fanboy. And yet I was actually very excited. Well, not excited to see it, but by the end of it, I was very excited.
I think that Microsoft what I always like about the Microsoft press conferences is that they um, their press conferences cater to a wide audience, a broad audience, so everybody can find something in their press conference they can like. Whereas Sony generally
Eh,
focuses on the hardcore. You know, they're like, oh, it's Sony always says it's about games, 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 and more games. And Microsoft has always been around like games and multimedia services. And now they've kind of um, there were a lot of games in there that I thought, okay, this would appeal to me, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Xbox games.
yeah, true. Same for me. But wow, like let's
Blah,
start
blah,
with
blah,
this. They
blah.
said they were going to show 60 games. They showed 60 games. The press conference was, I think, an hour and a half or something like that. Of course, they had a sizzle reel where they showed off a bunch of games, but they started off. I have to think about this real well. They started off with a trailer, and the trailer was for The Outer Worlds, which is, of course, the Oblivion RPG that's being led by the creative minds behind the original Fallout game. So Fallout One, Fallout Two, and all the expansions they made for those. And I gotta say, it is hilarious. It is so. It was so. It was so much fun to watch, and I can't wait to get my hands on this game. Probably because I kind of miss playing Fallout, and I haven't played Fallout 4 or Fallout 76. So, yeah, I don't know. But I do miss that kind of play, and it seems like they'll deliver in spades with this one, plus with the added comedical bent to it. Um, I think it's just a good time, Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds, sorry. Not to be confused with Outer Wilds, which is so poorly named and also in a similar kind of vein.
I don't know.
But
To be honest,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to play this game because when they first revealed it, I had a Borderlands meets Fallout feeling, and then I was when had that feeling, I could live with it. And when
Mm.
I saw this trailer, I really had a Fallout meets Borderlands trailer, and I wouldn't say I hate Fallout, but I really don't like Fallout because I I could bore you for hours about how much I hate the animation system in Fallout, that it's so lifeless and so emotionless. And that's something that I there was a fragment in the trailer where I saw that and I thought, no, 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 we're not even going to start this if it's the same stuff. It was the part around when they talked about you could be the hero, you could be the villain, or you could be a psychopath. And then the guy that got shot and said, "Oh, thank you, I'm feeling so much better." He looked right at you, and I had that Fallout flashback. Like, no, no, this is the same look. It almost looked like the same animation engine. It's like the guy said, "You know what? We came up with Fallout. Let's just rip it because it's our own stuff. We're gonna put in that annoying, really annoying stuff."
uh,
Do you see? It's causing my blood pressure to spike. I hate that. No, if
oh,
it's a lot of Fallout,
you, Sean? Who hurt
if
you?
it's a lot of Fallout and less Borderlands, I'm gonna skip this stuff because I really can't handle that. I don't play Fallout. I've never played Fallout. I It bugged the hell out of me in in Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I never touched a game after that, so no.
Well, Obsidian is the development studio that made Fallout New Vegas, arguably the best one of the bunch.
Skip that one because if I hear the name Fallout, I'm falling out.
Okay, so the Bethesda talk is going to be short.
Yeah,
But for me, as an RPG fanboy, it looked like a lot of fun. But
yeah.
and I'm not the kind of person that would go the psychopath route, but just to see how much chaos I can rain, I would go the psychopath.
I would definitely go to psychopath route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, if it's the shooting mechanic is similar to Fallout, it's not. I mean, they don't have the VAT system, obviously, but they do have the interactivity, the multiple dialogue choices, of course. And of course, everything has a consequence. Whatever you do has an impact on how the game world and the NPCs in it perceive you. So, oh boy, whoops, hope that doesn't translate into that. I just hit the table.
Uh oh.
Um, nah, it's fine.
Earthquake.
Nah, but
Nah.
there's a big thunderstorm happening outside. So
Ah.
hopefully that does not get picked up by the microphone. Um, but yeah, Outer Wilds that looked really fun,
Yeah.
at least to me.
Can't you hear the excitement in my voice?
Yeah, totally, man, totally.
Yeah.
Oh man. So after that, they didn't even bring out Phil Spencer first. They brought out someone else, two developers from Ninja Theory to show their new game,
Bleeding edge.
called Bleeding. Oh, good grief.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do I begin with this?
I don't
Um,
know, because when I saw it, it reminded me of what was it called?
Overwatch.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, so it is um basically that because it's a 4v4 multiplayer game.
Yeah, or
And
Battleborn, the game made by Gearbox, which utterly failed.
yeah,
Yeah,
except these characters actually look somewhat interesting.
that's spooky.
But honestly, it does not save it for me because it's another 4v4 shooter type of game. I'm like, what are you doing, Ninja Theory? Come on, man! Like, try something. What
Hellblade.
is that? What is Hellblade? And you made what? Was it the What's the Journey to the West game that came out last generation?
Uh,
Um,
I know which one you mean. The one with the anti circuit and
Enslaved.
enslaved. That one, yeah.
Yeah, you guys made Enslaved. Why are you making this?
I
I'm
don't
not saying
know.
I'm not saying it looks generic. It doesn't. The gameplay does. The game
Yeah.
itself does not look generic. It
Yeah.
looks like fun. I'm just not looking. I myself personally am not looking forward to a game like that. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that saw that trailer and thought, "Oh, that looks like a lot of fun,"
Mm-hmm.
and it probably is. But it's not my cup of tea.
Same.
It just isn't, and I kind of am disappointed because you made me go, "Ooh, Outer Worlds," and then multiplayer crap.
Yeah,
So
maybe it's not aimed at us. You know.
I mean, I sure I guess it's not aimed at us, but I don't know. And we're gonna go through like a bunch of ups and downs through the Microsoft press event. I will say this: the overall press event to me was unexpectedly good. So, like, just taking that into account, you can already kind of guess how it went, at least from my perspective.
The press conference
So
kind of feels like they have a fixed format which they just use every year. So this was the same format.
yeah, I mean, we'll get to it, but good grief, there were some moments in there that was pretty unbelievably predictable. Um, so okay, this is where it gets a bit iffy because they showed, like I said, 60 games and in great succession. Afterwards, Phil Spencer finally showed up to raving applause. He started talking about gaming and bringing people together and gaming wherever you want, whenever you want, however you want, on whatever device you want. Hint, hint. Um, he talked about what they were gonna show, blah blah blah, and then they went into Ori and the Will of the Wisp, which is a freaking gorgeous game. I don't know if you've played the first game or at
No,
least seen the first game,
no.
but
I've
it
seen the first
is
one. Yeah,
you. It is a gorgeous game.
yeah,
Like the
definitely.
first game, gorgeous. The second game, gorgeous. Unless you are not a fan of huge spiders,
I'm not.
if you're if you're not a fan of spiders, avoid the first 20 seconds of this trailer because there's a giant enemy spider who is trying to kill this cute little fluff ball.
Imagine how I felt when Jedi Fallen Order was fighting the part of the game had big
Spiders!
spiders in it.
I totally forgot to bring up the spiders because I know it skeeves you out.
Ugh. I was trying to
Oh,
skip ahead. I'm like, okay, I don't need to see this. Blah blah blah. Skip skip skip.
there were a lot of spiders in
Yep,
there.
I hate spiders.
Yeah. So about the spider in Ori and the Will of the Wisp. This one was a freak. He was huge. Like all the bosses in that game were huge, by the way. There were a lot of huge battles that they were showing off in this trailer, which again looked really cool because they were really well animated and just it's just a freaking gorgeous game.
Yeah,
I still need to play the first game, and I want to pick up the second game, but I've got time since that game won't be up out until 2020. Hint, hint, which is also a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to most of the games that we're going to be talking about, because most of the games that were announced during this press event aren't out until sometime next year.
yeah. I
So apparently, E3 is now, oh, we're gonna announce the latest games for next year.
Yeah, but we're in a gap year. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that next gen consoles are coming up, so everybody's shifting their
Ye-
resources towards next gen. So a lot of big studios are like, okay, you know what? We just need to kind of come up with stuff, but it shouldn't be big amazing stuff because we want
But
to
Will of
rack
the
in the money
Wisp,
with the new console, of course.
but Will of the Wisps was announced at last year's E3.
Yeah,
So either they announced this game's existence way too early, or for whatever reason the game got delayed until February of next year because it's coming out February 11th.
let me make a bridge to another game Microsoft showed at this press conference and make a point
Yeah,
there. Microsoft
sure.
showed Cyberpunk 2077, and that game has a
Oh,
release date for April next year. That game was
yeah.
announced like what, 7 years ago,
Oh,
10
that
years
game was
ago?
announced. No, 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 no. That game was announced, I think, 7 years ago.
Yeah. So, and
But it was announced way too early because A, they were still working on The Witcher,
yeah,
and B, they knew that it's gonna take a while. They
yeah,
knew that from the get go. So even they acknowledged that, I think last year, that they announced it way too
I
early.
know.
Because if it was up to them, they would have waited. I don't know what made them decide to announce it that early and that soon.
Yeah,
Because I think they announced it either soon after The Witcher 3 came out or right before The Witcher 3 came
I
out.
think they announced it when they were working on The Witcher 2.
No, really?
Yeah,
No.
they announced it really soon, and everybody was thinking, but they're working. I think it was announced just after Witcher 2 came out, and people knew there was going to be a Witcher 3. People were a lot, or there was a lot of confusion back then because everybody said like, why are they announcing this game? Because they're working on something else right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's the feeling I had when I said, I'm like, why are they doing this?
Yeah, I mean, who knows why they did it, but they did it, and yeah, well, here we are,
I don't.
finally getting it. Well, at least it's coming out next year, which
Yeah,
is I can accept that because the game looks like it's going to be ridiculously massive,
and it has Keanu
and
Reeves in it.
oh my god, wow! Just when you thought that this game couldn't get more off the wall, you have Keanu Reeves show up in the trailer, and then on stage, people went nuts.
Yeah.
The whole, it was so fun. At a certain point, he was describing the game, and
He said breathtaking.
he said the game was breathtaking, and then someone in the audience said, "You're breathtaking," and then he responded back to the guys like, "No, you're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this dude is so awesome. He
yeah.
looks like." I think he would. It would be like a fun time to hang out with Keanu Reeves. Honestly,
A celebrity appearance done properly, because normally it's also forced,
yeah,
and this one was really cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He was totally being him.
yeah,
So yeah, that was really nice to see. That was nice to see.
definitely.
Oh man, that was so awesome. And I can't wait for this game to come out because I'm totally up for the whole augmentation thing and just seeing what kind of weird cyborg you can become.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay looks awesome. I'm curious because the thing is the thing that I'm really looking forward to is being able to share my experience with that game with other people and see how their story develops. Because every choice that you make again is a choice that impacts how your story goes.
Yeah.
So, you might end up at the same mission, but you might not end up at that same mission in the same way I did.
Yeah, and that's what I like about these choice-based games, kind of what Mass Effect had once before it went into a dark hole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we don't talk about
yeah.
that.
For the sake of
uh,
time, because I think we
yeah,
can talk an hour about Microsoft. I think for the sake of time, we should do a rapid fire about the quick things they did, so we can talk a little bit more in depth about the bigger stuff they did.
cool.
Um,
Okay, so let's start with this one. Flight Simulator
yeah,
reboot,
yeah,
4K. Oh my god, epic! Looks awesome. Coming to PC and Xbox for the first time. It's
yeah,
coming to
and they're
consoles
using satellite data and Azure
and
AI.
the Azure AI system, which
Yeah,
is I'm not sure what the AI system does. I'm assuming it does the weather patterns, but
it looked
I don't know
awesome.
where they. I don't know where, like, what level of satellite imagery they were able to get, but it looked so real.
Yeah, and detailed.
It looked so detailed. I can't believe this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I think I need to upgrade my PC for this because my goodness,
Yeah, and
yeah, that
they
looked good.
they also showed, for example, Minecraft dungeons, and I'm not into Minecraft. I've never played no Minecraft, but that's
But have you
actually
played Diablo?
yeah, I like Diablo.
Because it's basically
Yeah,
Diablo.
and when I saw it, I thought, hey, I can share this with my friends, and this is something I'm willing to try because it really looked fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I I was taken aback. It took me a moment to be like, huh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
this could actually be good. And the fun part for me is that it's also coming to Switch.
yay,
So I can play that anywhere on the go
yeah,
with anybody.
yeah.
And we have a bunch of people that also own Switches. So I'm going to be gifting this stuff to people.
If I
So,
know if I know Microsoft by now, which I kind of do, they'll probably pull that. You know what, Microsoft? We believe in crossplay, so that means that Microsoft Dungeons is available on all platforms. And then in a small, it'll say except on PlayStation 4. Sony, call us because we want to bring this stuff to you too. They're gonna pull one of those, and then Sony looks like the bad guy again, and then Sony will cave to the support and say, you know what,
it's
we
coming to
believe.
the PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah, but they'll probably
Yeah.
play the crossplay angle, and then I can play with you where you're on your Switch and I'm behind my
Well,
PlayStation.
have they announced crossplay for this game yet? Because I don't think they have, right?
No, but I do think it's a feature they either did with Minecraft or they wanted to pull off with
Oh no,
Minecraft.
Minecraft has crossplay.
Yeah, so it's a no-brainer to include it into this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
all right. So moving on from that, they showed more of State of Decay 2. It was an expansion pack.
yeah, nice.
Honestly, I'm not really into State of Decay, so for me, it kind of just went over my head. The same for Crossfire X.
When I saw
They were
that,
making.
I had like, okay, they said 650 million people, blah, 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 blah. And the first thing that popped up to me is like, okay, this is a game that's popular in Asia because I've never heard of this game before. And it turned out to be an Asian
Fair.
shooter.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I looked it up. It's a game that's
Ah,
used in
good
Asia,
grief.
and apparently Remedy, the guys behind John Wick, uh,
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake, are developing a single player component for this game.
Ah, okay.
But I have no idea
I
what it is. The trailer looked
no,
cool, but I
neither
don't know
do
what
it.
it is.
Yeah, but it was oh, also a lot of CG trailers in this one, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
A lot of CG trailers.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get
Me
it.
too. Me too.
What I did get was the free expand. Am I saying that? Yeah, it was a free expansion for Forza Horizon, which adds Legos.
Yes.
I I have to explain how this went over with me because I think I've said it on this podcast before. I am not a huge fan of Forza. Neither am I a huge fan of Forza
I
Horizon.
love Forza Horizon.
But as soon as I heard everything is awesome, I was like, you got me. You got me.
You were probably
The
singing
one
behind
thing
the
that could
Xbox.
completely, the one thing that could convince me to get the Xbox Game Pass, you got me.
And you're probably singing the song as well.
Yes, I did repeatedly because
uh,
everything is indeed awesome. Oh my!
yeah, that's
And
true.
it looks like a hoot and a half too.
Mhm.
It's just the whole game is suddenly made of Legos. And here's the kicker. So, like I was saying before, as we were saying before, Microsoft was being by the numbers. And what does Microsoft do at almost every press event when they're talking about their latest racing game? Have a car on stage.
Yeah,
But this one was made out of 1.5 million Legos.
yeah, that looked awesome.
Oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
I kind of want to own that. I mean, I know it doesn't ride anywhere, but I just want to put it in my living room and just say like, that's art.
You can build your gaming center into that car and game from the car. That would be so cool.
That would be so
That would be
cool.
so awesome.
But not as awesome as what they did. What they also announced is that they acquired another studio, which I wasn't expecting at
I
all.
didn't see that one
Double
coming.
Fine.
Yeah, I was completely surprised.
And you know what? They kind of hinted at it because when Phil Spencer showed up on the stage the first time around, he was wearing a low key Psychonauts shirt.
Uh,
The logo was Psychonauts, but a very low key, um, um, minimalistic design. But you could tell that it was a brain, and that a brain is of course part of the Psychonauts logo. I was like, he's wearing a Psychonauts logo. Why is he wearing a Psychonauts logo? And I didn't make anything of it. And then they announced it. I'm like, oh snap! They own Double Fine. Well, I hope they don't screw them over in the end because that team has been screwed over before by LucasArts.
oh man, yeah, I know that.
Like, yeah. So, but yeah, Psychonauts 2 looks fun. Looks
Yeah,
really slick too. Like, damn. But then again, the first game came out a decade and a half ago.
I don't,
It's been a while.
yeah. I'm curious to see
Yeah,
what Microsoft's gonna do. Is Microsoft gonna fuel their weird creative passion? Because Double Fine
well,
generally
did
makes different kind of games. It's not like
well did you see the skit that they had when they had Tim Schafer on stage?
yeah, he said he wanted to do Halo or
And
Gears. Yeah, yeah,
then he said, "Nah, nah, it's good." And it's like, "Oh, thank God, I'm lying."
yeah. But it's curious to see, will Microsoft give them free reign, or will Microsoft kind of guide them in the right direction? Because Brutal Legends, for
I-
example, it didn't bring in the financial success it was about to bring. It was supposed to bring in.
yeah, I think out of all the games that they brought out, Brutal Legends is the only weak link. Everything else was good. Broke. Damn it, what's it called again? No, not Broken Edge. Not Broken Sword. That's a different adventure game. Ah,
I
fudge!
think
I forgot the name of the
they
game, and
did
I
they did
and I
enough.
actually was a Kickstarter backer.
Yeah.
But they had like a bunch of other cool games that they brought out as Double Fine. They
Hmm.
had Stacker. They had what's the game that came out actually before Brutal Legend again?
I don't know.
Um,
The only thing I know
fudge.
is I walked into Tim Schafer at Gamescom, and it was such a strange experience because I didn't know who the guy was, and that's all I
Wait,
know
what?
now. Didn't I tell you that story?
No, you did
I
not.
thought I told you the story. So quickly, I was at Gamescom the first year it was there. I was there as press, and then I was behind closed doors at EA, and I'm just walking around, and I'm trying to get into this Mass Effect 2 session, which was hosted by Casey Hudson. I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to check that stuff out. And then I see the guy from Command and Conquer, blah blah blah, Tiberius Kane, the guy who played Kane, was there. And while I was
Hmm.
looking at him, I was trying to walk towards the Mass Effect thing, and then I bump into a guy, and I'm like, "Oh, what the hell's this?" And I looked agitated, and I it apparently was Tim Schafer. Didn't know, so I'm looking at the guy, and the guy's like, oh, I'm really sorry, man. I'm sorry that I bumped into you. And I looked at him like, hey, man, it's okay. And I just walked away. And then the guy who was there, a friend of mine, he said, dude, you bumped, do you know who you bumped into? I'm like, "Nah, I don't know who I bumped into. I don't care who I bumped into. He said, that's Tim Schafer. I'm like, Tim Schafer. And then I believe that was the time around Brutal Legends. He's like, the guy that's developing Brutal Legends. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. And then I just walked into the Mass Effect session and I followed Casey Hudson.
Oh wow, damn,
Yep.
wow. I would have loved to have like gotten a moment of his time. Damn.
I got a moment of Peter Moore's time, which is kind of like a hero to me. I was able to secure an interview for like 5 minutes or something, and that was really cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that was when Gamescom was fun.
Oh man. Yeah. Speaking of nice, by the way, they showed a awesome trailer sizzle reel of all the ID at Xbox games.
Hmm.
Some cool games in between that, but the coolest thing was what they announced after that, which is the Xbox Game Pass coming to PC, as I said before.
Yeah,
But not only that, they announced Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which, if you are a Xbox owner and a PC owner, then that's like the best deal ever. Because basically, what it ends up being is you get Xbox Game Pass for your Xbox One. You get it for your PC, and you get Xbox Live for the cool sum of what, $15 a month?
yeah, Xbox Live Gold and the Game Pass is for both platforms. Indeed, $15, and it'll probably be something in euros like that. When
Yeah, it's the same in euros.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when I
it
saw
should.
that, I thought, okay, this is tremendous value you're getting. And Sony needs to pull stuff like this and package PlayStation Plus and PS Now because they're missing out. And when I saw it, I'm
Yeah,
like,
especially
I'm going to get
especially
that.
after they took out, especially since they took out the PlayStation 3 stuff and the PS Vita stuff
Yeah,
out of PlayStation Plus.
yeah.
2 games a month. I'm like, oh, I like. It's not like the games are bad. It's just
It's
I
too
used to get
mixed. It's
more.
too mixed. Some months it's really great and some months it's really shitty.
Yeah, like for example, this month we got the Handsome Collection. Ironically, the Handsome Collection is also available in Xbox Game Pass for this month. It's
Yeah,
almost like a game is coming out.
they did
Oh, there is
it.
Borderlands 3. Yo,
Yeah,
what up with that trailer?
I skipped past it.
Crazy.
I
No.
kind of did.
You're not into Borderlands?
I am, but for the sake of time, I was like, I don't know, I don't know. I just need to watch this.
It looks good. I will say this. I played Borderlands 1 and I played Borderlands 2. I never finished it for one simple reason only. It felt like I needed to play with other people.
I had the same exact feeling.
And I'm willing to get Borderlands 3 if you're gonna play it with me on the computer. So if you're up for that, I'm totally down for that.
I think we could do that.
Yeah, because I want to, because at least I want to play the DLC for Borderlands 2 that's now free for the next week or month or whatever.
It's
That
available with the
ties in from
Handsome
to
collection, right?
Yeah, it's available with the Handsome Collection, and you can download it for free now. I think for a limited period of time. So, um, yeah. So I just re-downloaded all that stuff on my PC when I found out. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's just click Steam, open, and download.
Nice.
Okay, we're good. So I got that going. So hopefully we can do that once you get back. Speaking of things that are back, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition.
Oh, it looked so cool.
Yo, that I am amazed at how good it looks because they remade that game and it looks very tight.
Yeah, in 4K. And the audio's improved and there's a new campaign. They put some proper effort and time into it.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I'm looking forward to playing that. I haven't played Age of Empires 2 in
Infinity.
at least 10 years.
Mm,
It has been at least a decade since I've played that game.
yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to that. Um what I'm also looking hmm, yeah, so I was going to say what I'm also looking forward to, I'm tentatively looking forward to the next title, which is 12 minutes.
Oh, that's so awesome. When I saw
That
that, I was, I want this right now.
Yeah, so it looks awesome, but I'm a big baby, and I'm not good with thrillers
Well,
or horror.
then you shouldn't play the other game they announced, Blair Witch Project.
Yeah,
I'm
Blair Witch.
I'm not
Like
into horror
I
as well,
saw
so
that and I was like, oh, that okay. Really, why Blair Witch? Why does this have to be Blair Witch
yeah.
exactly?
But
Like
12 minutes
who?
looks cool because it got I kind of got this interactive movie kind of idea from it instead of a full blown game, and I liked it. It kind of reminded me of Heavy Rain.
It kind of more reminded me of Edge of Tomorrow. Live Die Repeat, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, every 12 minutes, man, you reset the time. Oof.
yeah. But the cool
I am
part
kind of
was
curious.
in the trailer you saw like a lot of outcomes in the single room. There were multiple outcomes, and I thought, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah. Well, not well, single house.
Yeah,
Because there were scenes in like the bedroom, which got a little saucy, and in the bathroom where they were cowering from the I guess the villain.
the
It
police.
was kind of well, it was obviously not the police,
Yeah,
but yeah, it looked really like from a from a narrative perspective, it looks interesting as all get out, but I I cannot deal with anything that just is trying to shock you for the sake of shocking you because here's a couple sitting at dinner and the wife is about to spring on his on her husband that she's pregnant and the dude already knows everything and he's starting to freak her out
that was freaky.
and I'm starting to freak out and like what is going on here? I'm like, don't open the door, you crazy woman. It's like listen to the man. Like, no.
Yeah,
Oh, too much
I
tension.
liked it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I guess for some people had tension, not really much for me, is Gears 5.
They announced a lot of stuff
I
around Gears 5.
They announced a lot of stuff announced Gear 5 and it looks good. I'm just not a big Gears 5 guy. I tried playing the game co-op with a friend of mine like when it first came out. It's aight. But the first, I don't know. I haven't played any other Gears games since.
I
So,
played the first three, and I really liked them, especially the hard mode, because that's the 50 waves of based enemies, and that it just gets difficulter and
yeah.
difficult, and that's really fun because you really have to work together. And I still have to play the fourth one. I'll maybe play it through the Game Pass. Um, yeah, you know what it is? It's Gears is cool, and initially when the first Gears came out, I really had this idea that it was kind of a tech demo for Epic to show what they can do with the Xbox 360 at the time.
Hmm.
And yeah, the game's super fun, but it's a lot of it's the game isn't really that extensive. It's always you always have to do the same stuff. Walk into an area, kill enemies as gruesomely as you can, fix a puzzle to get to the next area, and repeat. And then you get a boss fight, and then you kill the boss, and then move on. That's kind of dumbed down.
Exactly.
And for some people, that's really cool. And in a way, if you play it with someone together, I liked it because I played it with a friend of mine. All three of them, I really liked it. But there isn't a lot of depth to it. So there's no RPG kind of mechanics. There's not a lot of stuff you can do. So yeah, it's like shoot, 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 kill, kill, kill. You know,
Yeah.
kind of what you said with Edge of Tomorrow: live, repeat, die, live, die, repeat, whatever.
So, moving on from that one, which was cool, they did do a little bit of a discussion about xCloud and how that was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about how it's a two pronged approach. So you have the cloud service, so you can play on any device that you own, which is neat. And then they had what they called the what was it again? The
Console stream.
console stream,
Yeah,
which is basically remote play.
it's your own. Yeah, it's your own server because
It's remote
yeah,
play.
it's remote play, but it's your own server. And to be honest, I think Microsoft will probably pull this better off because they're also a software company and not just a hardware company.
I'm curious to see how that works because if they're saying that you're using your Xbox One or Xbox One X as a server, does it mean that you have to have the game installed on your system to be able to play it
I think you do have to
on
own the
other
game.
devices? I mean, obviously, you have to own the game, but I'm curious as how it's going to work. That's all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So other than that,
We have two things left. It's
we have
coming
two
out in
things left.
October. They said that, and there's gonna be
Mhm.
people can experience it 83. I've read some impressions online, but it's coming out in October, so we'll be able to try it out pretty soon.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
They also talked about a new Elite controller for those that want that extra pro fidelity.
yeah,
Um, I will not be purchasing this because
same here.
I do not need that. Because if I'm going to play something on my PC, I'm going to use a mouse and keyboard. And if it's not that, I'm just going to use my trusty old Xbox 360 controller, which works perfectly fine.
Nice. And then we get to the creme de la creme, some would say, but what was a disappointment for me.
If you were expecting them to show off anything, then you haven't been paying attention to Microsoft press
No,
events.
let me put it this way. This press conference was an almost, it felt like an exact copy of the press conference they did 2 years ago when they announced the Xbox One X. Because,
In fact, it was basically a carbon copy of that
yeah,
structure.
and just for people, for us to get on with it, they announced their next gen console called Project Scarlet.
Yep.
And they had a cool video, and people talked about stuff like they did in the
No,
One
no,
X.
they had a video. Whether it was cool is debatable.
Anyways, the style of the video is cool, but they kind of literally what happened is when I was watching the video, the only thing that's going through my mind at that moment was PlayStation announced the same thing. This is going to be as powerful as the PS5. They're exactly the same specs,
Mhm,
probably, because they tried to spin it. They said we
mhm.
custom designed a CPU, and then they said, yeah, we're working together with AMD on a Ryzen 3 Zen 2 architecture with an Navi GPU, and like boring, because the PS5's got the same thing. This ain't nothing new. And then we're gonna do an SSD. Oh, where do I hear that before? Oh, the only thing that surprised me was what they said about that they would use the
Using virtual RAM.
yeah, the SSD could also be used as virtual RAM. And there I thought either Sony has this or they're gonna steal it from you.
And the other thing that I had was that that hard drive better be 2 terabytes, or otherwise this is completely
They're
pointless.
not gonna do that. They're gonna bring out multiple SKUs. Gonna give you like the cheap 500 gig version, and nobody's gonna want that.
If they put Scarlet, I'm saying it, telling you this right now. If they put out Scarlet with a 500 gigabyte SSD hard drive, then they might just burn away cash because that is a pointless option.
It's a business
Even now,
move.
it's a pointless option.
It's a business move. They're gonna upsell you to the 1 terabyte, which is gonna cost $5.99, and the base one is gonna cost $4.99. And it's
No, you're supposed to upsell us to the 2 terabytes. Start with one, upsell us to the
well,
two.
then they give you
Don't
the
start with
six.
five.
Then you'll pay $6.99.
Then we'll pay $6.99. It's not like some
Nobody's
people
gonna
haven't
pay
done
six
that
ninety nine
before.
for
Hey,
an
Sony,
Xbox.
people pay $500 for the Xbox One X.
Yeah, and it didn't sell that much, did it? Now
It sold surprisingly well for what it is.
Microsoft doesn't announce sales
I
figures,
mean,
and they're
not
not
better
actually
than.
talking about it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyways, they also announced that it's coming out next year in the holiday season. So it's going to be a pretty interesting holiday season because probably Sony will come out with the same moment with their PlayStation. So we're going to get like the PS4 and the Xbox One event, what we had back in 2013, is going to happen next year again.
Yep,
That's going to be exciting.
that's gonna be interesting.
And the last thing they announced was Halo Infinite is coming out together with Project Scarlet, and they showed a really cool trailer and it looked really nice. And yeah, that was about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a CG trailer, so there's not a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, they
But
said
at
game
least
engine footage, but yeah,
yeah, that was CG, man. That was cinematic. Um, but I mean, the system is not even ready yet, so it's subject to change regardless.
yeah.
But yeah, it looked interesting. That's all I can actually really say about it. I've never
They
finished
have
a
to come
video
up with
game.
stuff which is going to separate them from the rest. Because right now, it almost sounds like they're on the same playing field as PlayStation, which is a
I
logical
think
choice because they did the same thing last gen. But
I think they're hedging their bets on XCloud with this
I
one.
think so as well.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I don't have anything other to say. Let's. I mean, we didn't do this before because EA didn't have a press conference, so whatever. But let's grade this press conference. I know you haven't seen it in full,
Hmm.
but you have seen enough that was announced
Hmm.
and enough of that experience. How would you grade this press conference?
I would grade it. I gotta give it to them. I graded a solid 8.
An eight.
Yeah, an 8. If they did more
Yeah,
with
okay, yeah.
the Project xCloud stuff, because it was really basic. If they, I wanted like a live demonstration, or I wanted with more insight on that. If they did more with the xCloud stuff, if they did more with the Scarlet stuff, and if they maybe showed a
They should not. They shouldn't have mentioned the Scarlet stuff, to be honest.
yeah, but they can't not talk about Scarlet and have Sony talk about the PS5 or whatever. So it's kind of a forced move. I just wanted, a lot of stuff is going to come out next year. There only Gears is their big title, which is coming out this year, which I'm personally not going to think. Age of Empires 4 got announced a couple of years ago. It was MIA and it's being developed by Relic. So
Mhm.
where's my Age of Empires 4? Um, yeah, if they had gone a bit more in depth on some stuff, I would have given them a bigger grade. We didn't talk about Elden Ring, but yeah, I don't know what to think about that game, which is the game
There
From
was also a
Software.
CG trailer.
Yeah, just I, we're past the point that we want CG trailers. We're more at the point that we want gameplay demos. So yeah, give me more. And if they don't do that, they're gonna get an 8, which is still an okay number.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I'll also give an eight for this one. I was pleasantly surprised. Like I said, I wasn't going into this expecting to like any aspect of it. Maybe some of the indie titles, and there were indie titles in there that we weren't able to cover right now that were really interesting looking. But yeah, I mean, it was minus the Scarlet and XCloud stuff. It was a solid presentation, which
Yeah.
I can't say about other stuff that we've seen that we'll be discussing in the next segment.
Oh man.
So, yeah, stick around, guys, and we'll be back with the Bethesda press event and a little bit of Devolver right after this.
Alrighty, welcome back. We're gonna talk about the Bethesda press conference.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds so
Um,
excited.
so I've had the opportunity to watch this a couple of times and a couple of highlights here and there. So I think I've said this before on the podcast, and if not, I'm going to say it again um, to make this very clear. People should move on from making these live events, especially when you have nothing to show for it. Especially looking at you, Bethesda, with your what 5 mobile games that you talked about during this event, which was an half hour and a half. Good
I
grief, this one. It was so slow. So slow.
was fortunate enough to watch a recap, and I wrote down a few things, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, I think if anybody's planning on watching the Bethesda stuff, don't. Just grab a recap somewhere and do it that way because at least that way you can pick and choose what you watch or read about. I mean, the only interesting. Okay, I don't know. Let's just start with the beginning and go from there. Basically, they opened with about 10 minutes of nothing, just talking and a lot of applauding. Seriously,
Maybe
they
we
were
should
applauding
just
Fallout
maybe
76.
we should not walk through the show and just say what we
Oh
liked
no, I'm
and we
not
didn't
walking through
like.
the show, just the beginning,
Yeah, because
because that
otherwise it's
should
gonna
set the
drag out
tone.
too long.
No. I'm just trying to set the tone. 10 minutes of basically nothing and panhandling and um, uh, Todd Howard being a little coy about the reception of Fallout 76. I will say this though, at the very least, they're still supporting Fallout 76 with free content, and after the rocky launch it had, they better.
They can't get away with charging people money for extra content if the game is in a shitty state.
No, they cannot.
No.
Not even a little bit.
Oh,
Unfortunately, one of the new things that they announced was a battle royale mode.
I saw that.
Why?
I don't know.
Ugh. At least the free content actually is adding stuff that should have been there from the get-go. NPCs, quest lines, finally, multiple dialogue choices that actually have an impact on the story. Just this is gonna be a slow burn of a game. Anyway,
I don't like
so they
Fallout,
announced that
so
that Storm thing. I don't give a rat's, but they announced Elder Scrolls Blades coming to Switch. Don't care, but I will say this: the game supports cross save. So if you're playing on mobile right now and you download it on Switch when it comes out, you can just transfer your save file from one to the other and vice versa. It's probably using some kind of cloud saving, which would allow them to be able to do that. After that, they talked about a bunch of freaking mobile games, which we're not going to go into because I am not going to give that the time of day. They did show some cool stuff for Elder Scrolls Online, like dragons.
I don't play Elder Scrolls Online. I tried it once. I tried it once. It was like it was one of those. Is the game free to play right now? I don't know.
Yeah, it used to be. It used to have a monthly subscription, but who outside of Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft pays a fee for MMOs?
I don't know. But my experience with Elder Scrolls Online was I downloaded it onto my PlayStation. I started it up. I made my character. And within the first 5 minutes, I said, "No, man, I can't take this shit. It's so ugly. It's so static. It's still the same. It's literally Skyrim Online, which I can't take right now." And I just removed it from my PlayStation. And that was my brief review of Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Well, I
I
mean, they
like
did.
some games Bethesda makes, but I think it's more the publishing arm of Bethesda that I like than the games the studio itself makes.
Hmm.
That's why I hope Starfield is going to be something amazing. If Starfield turns out to
Well,
be
we will.
Elder Scrolls or Fallout in space, well, f that.
Well, we won't know until it comes out, and considering the fact that we don't know anything about it, odds are it's probably for the next generation.
Why announce it even if you're not ready to talk about it?
I don't know. People are weird. They have to please the the
Shareholders.
stock people, the shareholders, I
Yeah.
guess. Now then you have to make them aware that they are working on new stuff constantly. Uh, Whatever. So they
Wolfenstein
talked
got
about
announced.
yeah, it got a date, and it's not that long. It's like
No.
what 2 months away?
And yeah, and it
No,
also
it's next month. It's July
yeah, and it also has a VR companion kinda thing for it's called Wolfenstein
for those that
VR.
have VR. Yeah,
Yeah,
mostly
kinda
for those that have VR.
okay, yeah. Well, we
I
have to
mean,
see it this way. If there's nobody making content for VR, VR will never succeed, which I couldn't care less
true.
about, but people want VR to succeed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
And they did the same thing for Skyrim. So
yeah.
it looked cool. Young Blood
Yeah, definitely.
co-op.
It's co-op, and I played the first Wolfenstein and so the New Order and Colossus, and I loved them both. So yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if I'll buy this one, but I think so. But it kind of feels like
Mm,
an expansion more than like a true new game.
maybe.
Because from what I saw is that your father, who you play with in the first two games, goes missing, and
Mhm.
you're trying to find your father.
Yeah. I mean, it does take place in the 80s, so the
Yeah.
aesthetic should be a bit different.
Yeah, I don't know. I
And
got a expansion feel of it, so I don't hope they're gonna charge you $60 for the games because that I don't know.
oh, they're gonna charge you $60 for it, guaranteed.
That's a ripoff.
Oh, we'll see. I mean, we'll see when the reviews hit and see what that says.
Yeah,
If it's a full, if it feels like a full game or not. Speaking of full games, they did show some new content for Rage 2.
yeah. There's an expansion
If
coming out.
you're, yeah, if you're into that.
I
I
think
kept
I'll buy
forgetting that
it.
Rage 2. I kept forgetting that Rage 2 was a thing right up until like 2 weeks before it launched.
Yeah, I think maybe if the game drops at 30, I'll buy it. It looks fun.
Looks okay, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna spend the full money on it, but I think I can spend $30 on it.
Mm. They also showed off Doom Eternal,
Yeah,
and
that was nice.
it is eternally Doom. And then
Uh,
they announced, the special edition, with comes with a real life-size helmet that you can wear.
wow.
Yeah, that got a mixed reaction from the crowd. I mean,
Didn't
since we
know.
know what happened with Fallout 76.
And the bag.
But this time they actually showed off someone wearing the helmet in the crowd. It looked really creepy because you couldn't see the person's face through the helmet.
You know what I think was strange with Doom Eternal? They announced a multiplayer mode, I think, in which it's
Yeah.
one Slayer against two demons.
Mm-hmm.
But I really didn't like. I don't understand it. So far, all multiplayer games that I've seen that mimic a good guy versus bad guy in multiplayer never work. I've never seen a multiplayer game that pits you as the enemies that works.
Left for Dead.
I've only played single player, like the PVE stuff of Left 4 Dead. But even
You've
then,
never you've never played like the zombies?
no,
Dude, that is so much fun.
no. But
I used to have a
anyways,
lot of, like, back when I was in school, I would used to have a lot of fun with Left 4 Dead playing that mode.
oh, yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it. I've only played the PVE part for Left 4 Dead. But so far,
Maybe
my
give it a
impression is
try.
that all games that have a mode in which you play the enemies as a player versus the good guys as a player, it never works because it always feels like the good guys are overpowered or the bad guys are overpowered. In this case, I think you as a slayer are overpowered versus the demons.
I don't know, man. That Friday the 13th game seems to be doing well.
Yeah, I'm not into horror stuff, so I don't play those games. Yeah.
um,
They did
and
announce
they
a
announced
new
a new,
game.
yeah, from Shinji Mikami Studio.
Yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Hmm.
It, the trailer was CG. The idea around it sounded cool.
Yeah, what was the idea behind it again? Because I was kind of confused on that.
I didn't really get it, but you fight against enemies and supernatural enemies or something like that. It's really vague. They didn't really
Yeah,
say
something
much
like
about the
that.
game, but
In the trailer, you see a bunch of people getting raptured.
so vanishing
Um,
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the people that are left behind are left to defend themselves, and they fight amongst each other and something like that. It was really weird. But I will say this: I can't say it looked pretty because it was a cinematic trailer. It looked interesting. I'll
And
say
the
it looked
creative
interesting.
director who presented it was one of the most genuine, enthusiastic, and happy people I've ever seen on an E3.
She was very lively.
Yeah, typical Japanese, right?
No, she was very lively. She was surprisingly lively.
That's the image of
Um,
Japanese people I have in my head. So
wow. Okay.
yeah, I've never been to Japan. I think if I ever go to Japan, I'll be freaked out and horrified of the people there because they're so strange.
Nah, man. I think you'd be surprised at how um, neutral everything is there.
No, 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 no. I don't believe it. I have seen and heard
I've been
things.
there. I can tell you that it's not. But if you have
With
that
all due
expectation,
respect,
you'll be disappointed when you get
with
there.
all due respect, sometimes you're just oblivious for some stuff, and it's good.
No, 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 no,
It's
no, no.
good, but Japanese people are kind of strange. They do freaky shit. I'm not gonna mention those
No,
things
no,
right on this show.
you're overreacting, man. You're overreacting.
No, no. Well, anyways, that's Bethesda.
But yeah, Nakurumura-san, yeah, nice, nice. It was fun to see. It was fun to see someone that lively on stage, and not even though English is not her first language, she
I thought she was pretty good at it.
delivered it in English, unlike some other ones that I've seen this week. But yeah,
Square Enix is
but
gonna be a
yeah,
laugh.
no, it was something else. It was from the PC event.
No, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, I just got some glimpse in there. Honestly, I fell asleep. Um, but yeah, the less we say about that, the better. But yeah, that's like, other than that, there's not a lot to talk about with Bethesda because they basically did not have a lot to show.
So, if you
Which
were to
brings,
grade it,
wow, a very generous 6,
okay.
like very average.
I
Honestly, I said it at the top of this segment. They did not need to have this be a live show. There were so many unnecessary applause for everything. It just felt weird at a certain point. People were saying that were just introducing themselves, and there was this big applause. There was this one guy who kept yelling throughout the whole dang thing. It was weird.
Yeah, but I kind of get the idea that that's with fans because that's something the same thing we saw at Microsoft,
No, no,
and
no,
it's
no, no,
cool that Keanu
no. If
Reeves was able to use it in his presentation. But sometimes when you put fans in there, they're kind of. I remember a couple years ago when the Xbox One got announced at Microsoft press conference, the fans were in there as well, and they were kind of annoying because they would shout stuff like "Xbox off," "Xbox on," and then Patrick Sutherland, the guy that left Microsoft now, he went to EA. No, yeah, he left EA, but at the time he was at EA, he was gonna demo Battlefield 4, and he was getting annoyed by people, so he told people to shut up and be quiet. I mean, how embarrassing is that when you have to tell the audience to be quiet when you're trying to present a game?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I Part of me doesn't think that that was gamers. Part of me thinks that was just people from ZeniMax and Bethesda going wild.
Kind of like what happens with Ubisoft every time.
Ugh, yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that in the next episode. But yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, why does every company come up with a streaming service or a subscription service now? Because they announced Bethesda came up with Orion or something, and it's so
Oh
confusing.
yeah, right. So it is very confusing, but from what I can make of it, Orion is basically a middleware solution for streaming platforms. They said that Stadia and XCloud would be supporting Orion, which should improve
Latency.
which should improve the games that are using Orion as middleware for any cloud service,
Yeah, so they said you would get
whatever
more
that means.
performance out of frames and lower latency.
Yeah, stuff like that. But honestly,
You
Sure,
know what was
whatever.
strange? They did an onstage
It did.
demo, and it didn't look, but it doesn't look convincing. It looked like the person that was playing just randomly pushed buttons.
Have you ever looked at your hands while you're playing a video game?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks weird,
No, but it doesn't
regardless.
match. It didn't match the on-screen stuff that was happening. She was playing
So,
Doom, and it looked like she was randomly pressing buttons at some time. I'm like, I played
so
this
you're
game.
saying she was faking it?
Maybe.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised
I
if
mean
that
I
comes
mean that
out.
I mean that's totally fine if that's what you think that was. Um, sure, man. It looked weird. Regardless, it would have looked weird. Um, why did they announce this here?
I have no
This could have
idea.
been a this easily could have been a um a a, a press release
No, but they have to show
announcement.
they have to show it so people will believe it.
Yeah, it's middleware. Nobody needs to see it. It's something that works in the background, man.
Yeah,
But
but why? If it's middleware, why would they show it to the people? I don't think it's middleware. I think it's something else, but it didn't. It's not clear because if it's middleware, then they have no use of showing it at all. Because the people that
again,
are watching are not developers.
I think it's the whole. I think it's the whole. Here's the thing: EA. Gosh darn it.
You hate
E
that
three
much.
as no E3 as a show at its core is
For retailers and partners and
is
stuff
for
like that.
retailers and party members and blah blah blah. So
Blah blah blah.
I think in that mindset is why they announced Orion.
But it's not been that for the last few years. The last few years, it's been for the press and for the fans. It's not about retail anymore because a lot of developers or a lot of publishers say that it's not for retail. They have different events for retail. So it's a lot about exposure for press and excitement for fans.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I don't know, and I quite honestly I don't care. Um, we'll see. Um, well, even as I said that, I did sign up for that Orion beta thing, so we'll see if I get picked or not. I'll be able to give a more detailed description of what it really is. So,
Oh, we'll see.
um, yeah. So yeah. Anything else to say about Bethesda before we move on?
No, because I'm afraid we're gonna get depressed if we keep on doing this.
Yeah. Let's end on a weird note. Devolver Digital had their digital event again this year for the third time in a row, and it was batshit insane as always.
I don't watch those events because it's crazy. Tell me what
um,
happened. Walk me through it.
so it seems to be that it's a sequel to last year. The in terms of narrative because it always begins and ends with a sketch, and in between they do weird sketches in between. Um, and this year was no different. For those who actually saw Devolver Digital's digital event last year, it ended with their CEO in quotes dying, getting shot.
What?
Yeah, she died at the end of that digital event, and now she was rebuilt as an android. But they've been trying to get her to work for the past year, and they're discussing what to do because the digital event was gonna start in like a couple of minutes, and she was still catatonic. And then one of the marketing chicks was like, "Oh no, we should not do a press event because press events are bull crap," which again is what I've been saying. They should just do a digital thing. And then they poked fun at the Nintendo Direct because they called this event their Devolver Direct.
Wow.
And they projected the whole thing into the catatonic CEO's brain. So she was like, "What's happening here?" And people are just randomly appearing around her.
Lame.
The jokes are hit and miss, but I think it was charming for the most part. And they showed off some cool games. They showed off, oh man, they showed off some really sweet looking games. They showed off some DLC for the Messenger, which is free, coming out next month in July. If you haven't played the Messenger is this if you've played Ninja Gaiden on NES before, it's like that, but with a time travel aspect to it, where it switches from 8-bit to 16-bit graphics, and it looks like a Sega Mega Drive game and goes back and forth. It looks really cool. The new DLC looks really rad. They showed off some new games. They showed off an arcade title, as in legit arcade, as in it has a arcade cabinet and it's coming to arcades next year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a version of. Have you played? Have you? Do you know Enter the Gungeon?
No,
Have you heard of it at least?
no.
Okay, so Enter the Gungeon is this top-down isometric style roguelike game where you're in a dungeon and you can pick up various guns, and you basically have to shoot waves and waves of enemies until you die, and then you respawn again, and then you start over and over, and you basically progress through levels as you go ahead. But now that is getting a arcade version, which is a lead gun game for 2 players.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
They actually showed off the arcade cabinet. It looks sweet. The game itself looks sweet too because it's a first-person light gun game. Which a new arcade game? Who announces an arcade game in 2019? Nobody except Devolver Digital. That's who.
The guys have nothing to lose.
Man, no, and they had this really fun. They had this really fun poke at a game that they shadow dropped this very same day, where the skit was that they had this new technology, and it looked like they were gonna announce their own online storefront for their games, and they called it Devolver Bootleg. And it was basically bootleg versions of games that they license because Devolver Digital is not a developer; they're a publisher. So they're like, "Oh, we got all these games from our that we license from our partners, and we're making bootleg versions for them, and we're giving them to you." They trusted us with their IPs, and now we're reaping the benefits of them by making cheap knockoffs. And the titles are hilarious. It's basically an 8-in-1 game pack, which you can get on Steam, and it costs $4.
That sounds okay.
And it's all basically parodies of games that they've published before in the past. So, like for example, Enter the Gungeon is now Enter the Gun Dungeon, and damn it, what was the other game? They had Shooty Boots with it, which is Downwell. Damn it, what was the other one? Oh, you know Hotline Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now you have Hotline Milwaukee.
Wow. Oh my
Oh
god, that's so
man.
bad.
Oh, that was so bad. And Luftrausser 6, and all those titles were so cringy and awkward, but the delivery was just so perfect. Oh man. That I will say this, out of all the press conferences I've seen so far, Devolver Digital's was the most entertaining. Surely because it's insane. And the way this one ended was that the world was coming to an end, Terminator style,
Oh, great.
with the music and everything.
What?
And a Sarah Connor like character walking up to the still very much catatonic CEO and telling her, "Come with me if you want to live."
What's going on with
And then it ended
Terminator
with "To
this
be
E3?
continued." I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they paid off a bunch of people or something. I
Because
don't know. It's
it's
weird.
been in Microsoft's press conference, which I did not expect. It's in this one.
Hmm.
There's one we shall not
Yep.
name now, but there's another press conference that appeared into. What the hell's going on?
I don't know, man. I think I know what it is. It's because the new Terminator movie is coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's being helmed by, or at least it's being produced by James Cameron, and that dude knows how to market the shit out of his IP.
Okay.
If still remember stuff like
Is James
Avatar.
Cameron actually making a movie again?
No, no, no. He's producing the new. He's the producer on the new Terminator
Ah,
movie.
okay.
Yeah, which is another reboot. But this one takes place. You will never know how far back the reboot goes after the second movie. So everything after the second movie that came out didn't happen.
Yeah, it sounds like those alien movies.
Exactly.
Gee, great.
So yeah, that was the Devolver Digital. I would give them a solid B,
Okay.
like legit a solid B. Like, um, wait, what did I give Microsoft? An eight?
An 8. I gave Microsoft an 8 and you agreed.
Yeah, I would give them a 7.5.
That's nice.
It was a half hour, so it wasn't long. They showed the games that they wanted to show. They had that weird sense of humor, gross out humor. Oh, I forgot to talk about one of the other games that they announced was this thing called. Oh my goodness, I forgot what the name of that game was. Oh crap! Let me look it up real quick. Uh,
Click, click, click. Click, 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 click.
it was this something that they called a reverse horror game where you actually play the monster, and
Uh,
it's like this thing. It's Have you seen the thing, or
no,
do you know of the thing?
yeah, I do know of that.
Yeah, so the thing is basically this parasite that takes over people's bodies. Yeah, you're basically that.
Okay.
And damn it, what was that one called? I can see the image here, but it doesn't say the dang name of the game. Here, let me see if I can. Here. Um, damn it, I think it was called something like Chastain or something. Where is it? Uh, Carrion Beast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this weird creature that is all tentacles and a blob and takes over everything. It's disgusting and I love it. It's also all in pixel art, so it's not that creepy,
Sounds creepy.
but it is disgusting and it's awesome and I kind of want to play it. But yeah, they had all these weird, crazy titles. That's what I like about Devolver. They have these weird titles that you think like, oh, that's just crazy. But when you play it, it's like, oh, that's actually awesome. Just yeah. I mean, they even announced a battle royale kind of game called damn it, I have it right here and I keep forgetting Fall Guys, where you have to compete in mini games until you reach the goal.
That sounds like Mario Party?
It is Mario Party meets
Royale.
Fortnite, but without the guns.
Okay.
You're playing cute little colorful blobs.
Yay.
It again looks weird. It is right up of the Devolver Digital's alley. Yeah, yeah. It was weird.
I'm not
So
gonna lie
yeah,
to you.
that was the first day of the first 2 days of press conferences. Um, do you have anything else to add before we sign off?
I think we saw a lot of interesting stuff. Um,
Yep.
so far, it's kind of feeling like a gap here. So I don't know if there's any cool stuff going to come out later this year. For example, where is Modern Warfare? It hasn't been shown at any conference. I was expecting Microsoft to show it.
I think a lot of people were expecting Microsoft to show it, but Activision themselves are not at E3 this year,
Yeah,
so
so what's up with
I
that?
don't think that we're gonna see it anytime soon.
Yeah, whereas you would say that E3 is the perfect moment to show Modern Warfare because that's what they do every year. And normally they do it at the Sony press conference because Sony's got that deal with them for the
Yeah, but
exclusive
Sony's not
content.
here now. Sony's not here now, are they?
And it's so weird that they're not here because it feels like there's this big gap. And yeah,
It kind of feels like they made the wrong decision, doesn't it?
no, 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 no. They made the best decision. If it's a gap year, they made the best decision. And so far, it's shown to be a gap year. And it's wise of them to not show their cards. And I think Sony's going to do a different event later this year. And then they're going to go into details on their next gen. And then they're going to give The Last of Us a release date. They're going to give Ghost of Tsushima a release date.
Hmm.
I mean,
We'll
besides
see.
Death Stranding,
Mm-hmm.
I can and Modern Warfare maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't come up with a game I really, really want to play this year. Because the only game I really, really want to play right now, or am playing right now, is Total War 3 Kingdoms. I love that game so much that I'm going to buy a new PC one of these days.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Battlefield 5.
No,
Of
Battlefield
all the
5 is a
games.
game I still love and I still play. It's just that I really want to play the Pacific part, and that only comes out later this year. So I'm really having a great time with Total War 3 Kingdoms, but I can't
Mm.
think of anything that's coming out this year because I'm not a big Gears of War fan, so I can live without Gears of War. There's not anything really big on the calendar besides Death Stranding and Call of Duty because it's a Modern Warfare reboot.
Mm. Eh, we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, we still have tomorrow. We have Ubisoft. We have Square Enix. We have Nintendo coming up. So, and E3 is kicking off officially tomorrow. So we might get some new stuff in between getting announced. They like doing that stuff. So yeah. Um, Thanks for hanging out with us for this episode. It's a long one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back again with
tomorrow.
tomorrow, obviously. Well, we'll be talking about Ubisoft and Square Enix and Nintendo.
Yeah,
So, as always, you can find us on any podcasting app that you like to listen to. Please let your friends know. Also, you can leave us a message with the link in the description. Please feel free to do so. Leave us a question, leave us feedback, um, leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes or Google or Spotify or wherever you may be listening to your podcast. The feedback helps us a lot to know what people enjoy about this podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage that we're doing, especially for E3 this coming week. And we hope you guys stick around. And yeah, till tomorrow.
yeah, till tomorrow, right?
Later.
Bye.